What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for checking into my YouTube channel. Pastor Matt here. Today we're going to get a little bit deep. We're going to talk about the nature of time. What is time? What is eternity? We're going to consult St. Augustine to help us figure these things out. But before we do that, I just want to let you know that Gospel Fellowship PCA is a Reformed Bible-believing church just north of Pittsburgh. If you're looking for a church like that, please come check us out, Gospel Fellowship PCA. Okay, so let's get into it real quick. What in the world is time? Now, I actually wrote an article on this at Modern Reformation on their blog called The Mod. And what I'd really like you to do is go check out that article, click in the description of this video, and please go read that article. I don't ask you for much. I don't even ask you to subscribe or like my videos, but go check out that article. It's going to deal with this topic, I think, in a way that may be helpful to some. But time is a very relevant concept to all of us because we all have to live within time and we're limited to its constraints. The Bible begins and ends with time, believe it or not. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth is the first verse of the Bible. And then at the end, there's a reference to time when it says that Jesus is coming soon, which has to do with time measurement, the word soon. So, I've been thinking a lot about time lately, actually quite a bit, compelled and disturbed by this concept because it just seems so relevant that our lives are quickly vanishing. If you think about it, James 4:4 says our life is like a mist which appears for a while and then is gone. Your life, my life, we live in a very quick temporal existence. In fact, my wife, she's so sweet, she bought me this this hourglass right here, which has become kind of a metaphor for me and life lately because your life is just quickly moving from that top chamber, which we might call the future, right through that very narrow middle channel, which we call the present, down into the bottom, which is your past. And the problem is the past, you can't change it. You can have it forgiven, but you can't change it. The present goes by so quickly. In the future, we don't even know how many grains of sand we have left at all. So let's talk about time and its importance today. First of all, let's go ahead and define it. I would define time, and I did so in my article, as the relationship between what is, what was, and what is to come. And of course, in the scriptures, in this creation story, time is given as measured by the variations of motion. So for instance, day 4 in the creation story, we have the sun, moon, and stars to help measure time. We measure the relativity of the motions passing. For instance, the earth rotating one time is a day. If it goes around the sun all the way around, one revolution, we call that a year. And so a day is 1/365th of the year, and a year is 365 days. But that doesn't really help us to know what exactly we're measuring. And this is where St. Augustine comes in, because in his book, The Confessions, chapter 11, he really begins to work on the concept of time. Augustine, though he grants the biblical inspiration, of course, of day 4 of creation, that time is measured by motion, he's not exactly sure what that means. What are we measuring? So it takes one day for the earth to turn around one time, but a unit of what? Well, the only units you can use to describe time are other motions of bodies moving relative to one another. And so Augustine is troubled by this. And not only that, but Augustine sees a real problem with all three aspects of time, past, present, and future. The problem he sees with the present is that it seems to be infinitesimally small. You can continue to subdivide it. So Augustine says that any one year is not ever really fully present because you're only in 1 month of that year. Nor is a month fully present because you're only in 1 day. And even within 1 day, you're only within 1 hour, and so on down to the minutes, the seconds. You can keep splicing it, Augustine says, until you get down to the razor blade narrowness of the present. And the present just swiftly moves from the future to the present to the past, just as the sand moves through the hourglass, grains at a time only. But yet so swiftly that time seems to keep on going. And not only that, but Augustine isn't really sure what to make of the past or the future because, as he says in Book 11 of the Confessions, the past is nothing more than the present recalled once it has expired, and the future is nothing more than the present anticipated, which is yet to elapse. And so Augustine says, the problem with the past and the future is that there's no there. There's no isness to it. They don't seem to exist in any meaningful way other than what he calls recollection and anticipation, rather. So we've all probably noticed this problem with time is that it seems to have a property of elasticity. Now, I'm not talking about Einstein's theory of relativity here, but the property of time's elasticity is something far more basic and mundane, and that is that the more you enjoy it, the faster it seems to ebb away. And isn't that true? When you were 5 years old, you waited for your birthday to come around, and 1 year seemed like forever because because it was a fifth of your life, right? I mean, and then when your birthday came, even though the days leading up to it dragged along, your birthday came, you had such a good time, it was here and then it was over super, super quick. And so there's the problem right there, is the more joy you're having, the quicker time seems to ebb away. And I noticed that too in elementary school, that math class went on for hours and hours and hours, it seemed. And gym class seemed like it was just, a snap of the finger because I loved it so much. And as I'm 43 years old now, one of the things I'm realizing is that my life is going too fast, and I don't know how many grains are left in the chamber yet to fall. I have to try to enjoy every single grain as it passes through the channel of my life, but I can't seem to slow it down. And I just had my oldest child go off to college, first day of college last week, and I'm telling myself, I can't believe I'm old enough to have a child in college, and yet it's true. And I'm aging, my beard gets grayer and grayer, my body gets weaker and weaker as I move through my 40s now. And the problem is that I really love life, and I hope you do too, and I don't really want it to go by so fast. I'm really, really enjoying my life, and I'm so thankful for what God has done. But that's then the property of time's relative elasticity related to joy. So, the warnings in Scripture are over and over again that time passes by all too quickly. That James 4 passage, like a mist. Your life is like a mist. It's here and then gone. Just a couple days ago, we were out on the front porch, and there was this beautiful rainfall. A mist hung for a moment in the air, and we saw a rainbow just like across the street in our neighbor's yard. And I'm telling you, you don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you it's true. I saw the bottom of the rainbow in my neighbor's yard. And I yelled to get my wife. I told her, you got to come out here and see this. And by the time I called her, she came out. It was already halfway faded. And then I told my daughter to grab my camera. And by the time that happened, it was almost gone. And James says your life is like a mist. It's here and then it's gone. Other biblical analogies for the brevity of life include the evening shadow. If you're a photographer, you know how the evening light is the best as the sun is going down and the shadows get long. But that moment too only lasts for just a moment in time. And so if you're not a believer, then that's a warning of the speed at which the judgment is approaching. And if you are a believer, then the point is to be thankful for every moment that you have. And so in the article in Modern Reformation, I gave 3 quick applications related to time, and I'll just tick them off for you real quick, but I do want you to read the article. First of all, every day you have is a gift. Your whole life is a gift. Every day, every moment, every breath. You have to realize that it is a gift. Don't ever wish away your life. Sometimes I catch myself saying, man, I can't wait till the leaves turn color. Well, pretty soon it's going to be true, and another month of my life will have elapsed, and I don't want to wish my life away like that. So be thankful for every day as a gift. Secondly, enjoy it. Soak up the joy. Those memories with your children, treasure them. Those times with your spouse, enjoy them. Those beautiful summer days with the church, man, soak them down into your pores. Enjoy and recognize every gift of God as what it is, just a benevolence of His kindness unto you. And then finally this, we have to live in view of eternity. I'm doing a book on Edwards' resolutions. It's going to come out next year through Hendrickson Press. And Edwards has several resolutions on time. One of them is to live with all my might while I do live. That's one of them. Another is don't be afraid to do anything that I'd be afraid to do on the last hour of my life. And another one is live as though I'd seen the joys of heaven and the horrors of hell. Edwards was a person who was in tune, we might say, with the reality of time's ebbing and flowing nature. And so God is the God of eternity, but we live here in time. Let me wrap up here with a verse from Ecclesiastes 5:18. Behold, what I have seen to be good and fitting is to eat and drink and find enjoyment in all the toil with which one toils under the sun, the few days of his life that God has given for him, for this is his lot. And there are other verses in Ecclesiastes 5:18, 9:9, 2:24, and 6:6. All right, so enjoy your life as a gift and all of its time. It is quickly flowing through the channels of the hourglass. Well, hey, if I could remind you one more time, please go check out that article at Modern Reformation. It's at the blog called The Mod. Thank you so much for watching this channel. I do love you lots, and we'll talk to you later.